That is a positive way to look at it. The Buddha didn't say just because life is suffering that you go around with a solemn face. Okay? This, you said, what? Positive attracts positive. This is a very old saying. The old saying is that birds of the feather flock together. If you are a kaki arak, you mix with kaki arak. If you are kaki dada, you mix with kaki dada. Isn't it? But the Buddha said, if two persons want to be reborn together again, suppose you love your wife and you want to be reborn together with your wife, the Buddha said 4 things must be the same. One is faith, that means your religion. The second one is generosity or selfishness. People who are generous are born together. People who are selfish are born together. Third, morally upright or not morally upright. Those people who are morally upright are born together. Those who are not upright are born together. Fourthly, is wisdom. Those who have wisdom are born together. The Bodho also will be born together. So 4 things are important.
Bhante, Dhamma is also consists of Abhidhamma.
No.
That means
in the Buddha's teachings, during the Buddha's time, the Buddha always referred to all his teachings as Dhamma Vinaya. Dve Pitaka. Later they created Tipitaka or Tripitaka. They added the Abhidhamma. Abhidhamma is Lunchang. If you ask Mahayanis, they say Abhidhamma was created later. Because when the Sangha split into many sects, historians tell us that different sects created their own Abhidhamma. So I mentioned just now, the Buddha said, if anybody says that the Buddha taught like this, the Buddha taught like that, you must only compare with the suttas, only with agrees with the suttas, then you can take it to be the Buddha's words. But if you study the suttas and you're familiar with the suttas, and then when you study the Abhidhamma, you find contradiction. In the early suttas, the Buddha talked about 5 destinations of rebirth. In the later books, like Abhidhamma and Mahayana Sutras, they talk about 6. They added the Asura. But in the early discourses of the Buddha said in the Digha Nikaya, the lowest type of Asura is called Kalakanja Asura. And then in another sutta in the Digha Nikaya, one day a lot of devas came to pay respect to the Buddha. They stood halfway up in the sky and they bowed to the Buddha. So the Buddha told his Arahant disciples, those who had psychic powers, he said, look at all those devas come to pay respect to the Tathagata. He mentioned the names of the different devas, and then he mentioned Kalakanja Asuras. That means the lowest type of Asura is already a deva. But later books, they say there are beings in hell that are Asuras. There are ghosts that are Asuras. So unless you are familiar with the early suttas, you don't know. No? In the Abhidhamma, they say when you attain the path, the next conscious moment, immediately it becomes the fruit. Yeah. Whether if you attain the first path, the next conscious moment, it becomes the first fruit. If you attain the second path, immediately it becomes the second fruit. If that is the case, then you have no chance to make offerings to a path attainer. Because when you hear a person has attained the path, before you can say hello, he has already turned into fruit. So how to make offering to a path attainer? Yeah. But in the suttas, it is clear, the Buddha said you can make offerings to a first path attainer, to a first fruit, second path, second fruit, third path, third fruit, fourth path, fourth fruit. So 8 types of Arya exist. The Buddha said after a person attains the path, it takes some time for that wisdom to mature. When the wisdom matures and then it turns into fruit, then the fetters fall away. Okay?
Bhante, may I ask a question? What's your opinion of practicing of the Eastern art, practicing of Tai Chi, Qigong, to complement the practice of mindfulness?
It's okay, because we need exercise,
Because my understanding, walking meditation is moving meditation. Instead of sitting still, we move our leg or be mindful of breath. So what's the difference between the practicing of Tai Chi, Qigong, and the walking meditation? Thank you.
In the Buddha's time, the Buddha taught his disciples mindfulness of the breath. And they are supposed to be mindful of the breath all the time. Whether they are sitting, or they are walking, or they are standing, or they lie down. They are mindful of one object all the time until their mind becomes one-pointed. And then they enter samadhi, rooting. Now, in the practice of Qigong and all that, you are practicing mindfulness connected to your body. That is called sampajanya, awareness. In the Pali Suttas, is called awareness. Sati is, although it's translated as mindfulness, the real meaning of sati is recollection, remembering. The Buddha said, we should always remember to put our attention on four things: the body, feelings, mind, and Dhamma. Because if you don't pay attention to these four things, our mind will run astray, go out to the six sense doors. We want to see, we want to hear, we want to smell, taste, touch, and think. So, the Buddha said, in everyday life, we have to combine the two. Sati, sampajanya. If you practice sati, mindful of these four things, it gives you wisdom. Sampajanya is awareness. You practice it to keep your mind in the here and now. You are practicing Tai Chi and you're focused on practicing Tai Chi. You're not thinking of your office or your girlfriend or whatever. So you need both. But if you look at the Aryan Eightfold Path, you find that sati is a factor of the Aryan Eightfold Path. It can lead to liberation. But sampajanya, awareness, is not a factor. It helps you to be mindful, but it does not give you wisdom. That's the difference. Mike?
Bhante, the last about the deep samadhi, I heard someone when they do deep samadhi for days, they remain there and cannot come out. So I'm afraid that one day, hopefully, it will happen to me. So what to do about that? My second question is about suicide. I read in the Sudan that there's one, I think Arahan or something, he committed suicide because of the illness, he cannot bear the pain. And then when he saw when the Mara tried to fight him, I cannot fight him. So report the blood person is okay, and he has gone. So I wonder about this, the rightfulness of committing suicide.
This one about samadhi. Samadhi, to make your mind one-pointed, is very difficult. In the description of the first jhana, the Buddha said, aloof from sensual desires, aloof from unwholesome states, a monk enters and abides in the first jhana. So even to get the lowest jhana, you have to be secluded or aloof or detached from sensual desires. You have to give up sensual desires. That's why ordinary lay person cannot attain jhana. You have to be a renunciant, have to be a monk or a nun, living a celibate life. So, and then you have to be secluded or aloof from unwholesome states of mind. That means you have to train yourself, to get rid of unwholesome states of mind. Only then you can enter the jhana. Then even when you are able to enter the jhana, samadhi, very soon you fall out of it. It is like a person carrying weight. You want to be a weightlifter, you want to become an Olympic weightlifter. So you train yourself. So you try to carry heavier and heavier weight. When you carry a heavy weight, can you push it up and then remain there for a long time? No, as soon as you push it up, immediately you have to throw it down because you can't stand. Yeah. So when we meditate, if our mind is not well trained, we don't have the muscle up there. So even if you attain samadhi, very soon you will fall out of it. So don't worry about you getting. If you are able to stay there for days and days, you might become an arahant. The second one about suicide. There are cases mentioned, and sometimes it is said that the monk, because he was very sick and the pain was quite unbearable, he wanted to commit suicide. And then the Buddha said, don't worry, whatever you do will be blameless. So in other words, the Buddha is saying, if you want to commit suicide, it's also okay. Why? Because that monk has finished his work, has done his work. So the Buddha said, if a person dies and does not come back in a body, he said, that is very good, that is praiseworthy. Or if a person dies and comes back in another form, in another body, then it's not so praiseworthy. So the Arahant has finished his work. Now the body is just a shell, and it's giving a lot of pain. And in those days, they don't have painkiller and all that. Yeah. So that's why he has no more work to do. So might as well go off. If he was not such in a bad state, then the Buddha will want him to. In another sutta, the Buddha said, if a monk is sick, he should try to hold on to life. Because it's very hard to get a human body. So if a monk is not that sick, he holds on to life and he recovers, then he can help to teach the Dhamma to others, be of benefit to others. But when he's so sick, he becomes a burden to others, and he's not going to recover. So the Buddha said, might as well go off. Put nearer your mouth.
Bhante, what about chanting? Do we need to chant every day, and then the chanting help to what about the evil and wanted power of them?
Chanting is not important. During the Buddha's time, the monks hardly chanted. Nowadays, you find monks like to chant. For example, you do a lunch offering. After that, nowadays, the monks will chant. But during the Buddha's time, when a lunch offering is given to a monk, he will give blessings not in the form of chanting. He will give the blessings by teaching the Dhamma. Sometimes it can be a very short Dhamma talk. But when the lay person listens to the Dhamma and understands, he receives the blessings. Much better, much more blessings than just chanting. So a lot of the chants nowadays that we chant was created later. Was created later. Nowadays, a lot of monks, they cannot explain the Dhamma. They cannot give a Dhamma talk. So they chant. And every day they chant the same thing. Very easy. For me to give a Dhamma talk, generally 1 hour of Dhamma talk, I have to spend 4 or 5 hours to prepare, I have to do research. Sometimes people don't understand, they come and suddenly ask me to give a Dhamma talk.
But Bhante, but when the house is haunted, they ask the monk to go and do chanting helps to clear away to solve the problem of the haunted house. How's your opinion on that?
It depends. It depends. Sometimes the problem, if it's due to karma, due to past life karma, you cannot help that person. But sometimes it's not due to karma. The monks go and do some blessing, and the spirit will go away. Because the spirit also respect the sangha. But the best protection you can get is to practice the Dhamma. As now I said, if you practice the Dhamma and you develop your character, develop your mind, your blessings go up. Your blessings go up, there will be Kui Jin, Kuai Yin looking after you. And these spirits won't disturb you.
Bhante, correct me if I'm wrong. Buddhists believe in transfer of merit. But when we chant, after that we say the chanting sutta will transfer to the departed. Is any significant about it?
It's transference of merit. You cannot transfer everything. If you listen to the Dhamma, you get wisdom. You cannot transfer to merit to a ghost. You won't get your wisdom. If you do meditation, you cannot transfer your samadhi to some other beings. So in the suttas, the Buddha said, if your relative have passed away, they can get the transference of merit only if they are reborn as a ghost. So I mentioned ghosts only mainly need two things, food and clothing. If you do a lot of chanting for them, you think they want. Just like you go to Africa, the people are so hungry, you go there and do a lot of chanting for them, they want or not? They scold you.
Just now you mentioned when somebody passed away, then it takes maybe 4-5 hours before he actually die. That's why there was some saying that it's better not to donate our organs. Just in case, because when you die, immediately the doctor will extract everything out, but you're not dead yet.
That one, sorry, you have to make your own decision. Maybe you can put a clause there, and my corpse becomes cold.
And then, I think this question has become more knowledgeable. We can kind of feel from this question. Soul has any set made ever? Is it possible that they go into the wrong body?
Go into what? Wrong what?
Wrong body. Wrong body. It means soul, whether they set made.
That depends on.
Is there a possible that the soul has sex?
It depends on.
Will go into a real body.
No, it depends on which realm of rebirth you go to. If you are reborn in the sensual desire realm where there are male and female, you may have a male or a female body. But if you are reborn in the form realm where they are all unisex, there's no body. But nowadays you have what? LGBT. It's a lot to do with past life. Past life. When I was young in school, last time we have this PE class, physical education class. So we play football and all that. So the teacher asks us take off our shirts because we will be sweating. So we run about topless without the shirt. But there's one or two students, when they are running around, they hold a handkerchief, cover themselves like that. Sisi . Maybe been a lady many lifetimes. Now born with a man body.
Another question regarding karma. Is there any logical way?
Put nearer your mouth, cannot hear.
Logical way to explain to people karma is something that relates to energy that resides inside us or whatever things that we have done or any years.
To explain to people karma using energy.
Or any other ways.
No lah, just make it simple. No? And the Christians say, as you sow, so shall you reap. What you give to others, you get back in return. It's only fair. Ma. Any other thing?
Bhante, there's a few about devotees wish to go to a place, but they can reach Kampa, but they don't know how to from Kampa to your place. So, Bhante give some guidance to this person.
No problem, because a lot of people, they take the train and stop at Kampa, and then they call a taxi. And we have several taxi men who know our place. You can give the taxi phone number, and they will bring you. It costs about 15 or 20 ringgit from Kampa to our place. If you take the bus, then you can stop at Temo Town. Temo Town is the town just before Kampa. Then we can pick you up.
They can you give the number so that we can just.
No, if you want to go, then WhatsApp me using the number on in the books. Our books has a phone number, and that is our monastery number So you WhatsApp me, and then I will send you the taxi telephone number. From KL, it's only 2 hours. The electric train, I think, goes between Ipoh and Seramban. Yeah. Malacca also. Or Tampin. Oh. Malacca to Tampin is how far? Oh. Oh. Any other question? Yeah, anyone. As long as you can follow the rules. Our rules are quite relaxed. The other day I spoke about our vihara. You have to keep the 8 precepts. But it doesn't mean you cannot eat anything in the evening. We are quite relaxed in the sense that there are many things allowed in the Thai tradition. In the evening, you can take prunes, you can take dates, either Chinese dates or Arab dates, all kinds of dates. You can take dark chocolate. In Thai tradition, even cheese also you can take. You bring, if you think you need cheese, you bring cheese. And then cereal drinks also we allow. Why we allow cereal drinks? A lot of people think it's not according to Vinaya, but actually in the Vinaya, the Buddha said if a monk is sick, he's allowed to eat moi, chup, broth, rice broth. In the evening also can. And then the Buddha said if a monk is not sick, even the broth, rice broth mixed with water also can take. So cereal drink is similar. So like. So, if you keep 8 precepts, you won't be hungry in our monastery. There are some monasteries that follow the Burmese tradition. A lot of things they don't allow. Whereas honey, sweets, several other things allowed. Roots, there are certain types of roots like ginger, ginseng allowed. There are certain type of leaves that are allowed. The herbs are allowed. There are certain type of fruits that are allowed. For example, this nutmeg, and then certain medicinal fruits allowed. So that is 8 precepts lah. And then our schedule is not heavy. In the morning, if people want to meditate, our hall is open from 4 a.m. Meditate until about 6 o'clock, 2 hours. But people who are tired, they don't want to come and meditate, also boleh. But have to come and help prepare breakfast about 6 o'clock or 6:15 to help to cut the fruits. Mainly cut the fruits. And then our breakfast is 6:45, about 6:45. Then after that, you have to do about 2 hours of work. Either you follow the monks on alms round. We go on alms round every day, Monday until Saturday. But you don't have to walk so far. We go in a van because every day we go to a different town. Perak State, people are not used to monks on alms round. Not like Penang or Kedah or Perlis. We go for monks in Penang, Kedah and Perlis. When we go on alms round, we get all types of food. In Perak, when we go on alms round, a lot of roti, a lot of kueh, a lot of fruits, but hardly any rice. They think monks must be vegetarian, don't give us rice. If they give us mee, also a mee kosong. Susah cari makan. So either you follow the monks on alms round, or you do 2 hours of work, sweeping the floor, sweeping the road, mopping the floor, wiping the windows, etc. So that will bring you to 9:30. After 9:30, you take a bath and take a rest. Then 11 o'clock is our lunch. And then after the lunch, people help to wash the plates, sweep and mop the floor in the dining hall. Then after that, you are free until 4 o'clock. Some people like to stay in the room and listen to the Dhamma talks. Some people, maybe 2 o'clock, they go and meditate. Some people want to take a rest. You can do whatever you like. There's a library, some people want to read, also can. At 4 o'clock, we come together for chanting. Chanting only 20 minutes. And after chanting, we go and feed the dogs. We have 9 dogs. Because we are in the forest area. Wild boars come in every day. And then about 8-9 years ago, a black panther came into our land. 3 years ago, a wild goat came into our land. So we have a few big dogs. And then for the rest of the people, you have a tea break of 4:30 until 5 o'clock. At 5 o'clock, we come together and meditate until 6:30. At 6:30 to 7:30, we listen to one of the old recorded talks. And after that, you take a rest. So in the Dhamma session, people who have questions also can ask. Any other question?
Bhante had 2 questions. Just Bhante mentioned that Bhante will explain why Vipassana is not insight.
Oh, yeah.
The second question is regarding the body again. Because there's some
Wait, one at a time. In the Majjhima Nikaya Sutta 43, it is mentioned that you need to listen to the true Dhamma to attain stream entry. Once you attain stream entry, you have become a first path Arya. And then the sutta also says, after you have attained stream entry, there are 5 more factors you have to practice to become liberated, to become enlightened, to become Arahant. And those 5 factors are Sila, and then Dhamma Savana, which is listening to Dhamma, Dhamma Sakacha, which is discussion of Dhamma, then Samatha and Vipassana. Now in the Aryan Eightfold Path, once you get right view, you have entered the stream, and you need 7 factors, the remaining factors of the Aryan Eightfold Path to bring you to enlightenment, namely right thoughts, right speech, right action, right livelihood, and then right effort, right mindfulness and right concentration. So in the Aryan Eightfold Path, after right view, you need to practice 7 factors. But in the Majjhima Nikaya Sutta 43, it says after right view, you have to practice 5. Yeah. So the 5 in the Majjhima Nikaya is the same as the 7 factors in the Aryan Eightfold Path. No? So when the first one in the 5 factors is Sila. So in the Aryan Eightfold Path, what is Sila? Sila is the second factor, right thoughts. Third factor, right speech. Fourth factor, right action. Fifth factor, right livelihood. This is the Sila component. And you get this soon after you get right view. Because once you get right view, you have discarded your wrong views. You got rid of wrong prejudices. You got rid of wrong thoughts. So you'll naturally, you will get right thoughts. And because of right thoughts, you will get right speech. Because before you speak, you have to think. So if you have right thoughts, you will have right speech. And then because of right thoughts also, you have right action. Because before you act, also you will think. So because of right thoughts, right speech and right action, you will have right livelihood. Cari makan without harming anybody. So you see, after you get right view, you will come naturally. The other 4 factors will come naturally. You will follow naturally. This is Sila. So after that, is listening to Dhamma and discussion of Dhamma. But listening to Dhamma and discussion of Dhamma falls under right mindfulness. Right mindfulness, you have to be mindful of the body, feelings, mind and Dhamma. So when you listen to Dhamma and you discuss Dhamma, that is mindfulness of Dhamma, which falls under right mindfulness. So after that is Samatha and Vipassana. Samatha we know is meditation that gives you the jhanas, that gives you samadhi. So it is the 8th factor, right concentration. So you find Vipassana is the 2 remaining factors in the Aryan Eightfold Path, which is right effort and right mindfulness. Yeah. So they translate Vipassana wrongly as insight. Cannot be. Vipassana is the work that gives you insight. That is right effort and right mindfulness. Okay. The second question.
The question is regarding the body when you die, you can take for 5 hours. So there are some people who say when somebody passes away, don't touch the body for the next 4 5 hours away, otherwise he will feel the pain.
That 8 hours comes from Tai Si Faser. He's a Pure Land monk. He is his own concoction, his own idea. And somebody dies, don't touch him for 8 hours. Half of the Mahayana monks also don't believe. Those who don't follow the Pure Land, they don't believe in that. So, I mentioned just now, when a doctor says a person has died, his breathing has stopped, his heart has stopped. When those 2 have stopped, it also means his 5 senses have stopped. He is not aware of seeing, hearing, smell, taste and touch. So you slap him also, he won't know. Why cannot touch him? Sometimes when a person is pronounced dead by the doctor, they wheel that body into the cold room. They keep him in the cold room. And it has happened after 2 weeks when they take out that body, they find that fellow is alive. Any other thing? Yes. That's the mic.
Bhante, the Buddha could see his past life, and he said that some people get to know of their past life via meditation. My question is it important to know our past life, or is it just for info or understanding what's happening in this current life?
No, the Buddha said it's not important to know. The Buddha said, don't run into the past, don't run into the future, don't think of your past, don't think of the future. stay in the here and now. You know, there are some children now who remember their past life. They want to go back to their old home. And sometimes the parents bring them back to their old home, and they see their former relatives. But after that, it seems that child goes into depression, because of attachment. So don't think about your past. If you think of your past, all that sorrow will come up. I've seen a documentary. There's a doctor in Australia. He asked for volunteers, those people who want to remember their past life. He hypnotized them. And then they talk about the past life. There's one lady, she said about 200 years ago, she was a princess in France. She remembered the place where she stayed, the town, everything. So the doctor brought her back there and they recorded it. So when she went to that place, she remembered the old roads. I went back to the old castle, where she lived as a princess. When she came to that castle and saw that castle, she broke down and cried. Cried so uncontrollably. She didn't understand. I mean, she's now a different person. Why should she cry? This all emotions come up. The attachment, those people that you loved before, and you think about them. So better don't remember. Hey, don't talk about so far. If your relative has passed away this life, when you think of that relative also, your tears will come down. Yes or not? You think of your mother who has passed away. Yes or not? Any other thing? Somebody just now there wanted to ask. There.
We will take another one or two questions and we will complete the dinner.
I don't mind going later if people are interested.
Okay, please do.
Okay, good evening, Bhante. I have one question from my end. Okay, if someone already passed away, normally, if let's say from the Taoism point of view, they will get the monk to do the chanting. And if let's say for the Buddhists, normally they will chant the letting go kind of mantra or mantra. So if let's say the person normally they don't really understand all these about or Dhamma about, can they understand and is it will be helpful for the person who already passed away?
No, all this chanting is for the people who are alive. People who are alive want their chantings, so they feel at least they do something for the departed. But it doesn't help the departed. A few years ago, there was a lady in Tapa. She had an accident, and the son, 15 years old, she was about 45 years old, and both of them died. Then the family got the Lamolo, how can say Sai Kong, to do the chanting for 2 nights. On the second night, when the Taoist chanting was going on, there were many people in the house that night. So many people in the house, but only 3 people heard the ghost crying. Only 3 people heard the ghost crying. Why? Because these 3 people are closer to the dead person. So the dead person feels only these 3 people will take the trouble to help them. So after that, the next day they came to see me. So you see, then after that, 2 weeks later, the ghost came again to visit another relative. And this other relative, sells fruit in front of a restaurant. So in the late afternoon, he was standing by his stall, and then an old lady got out of the car to go to the restaurant to eat. When she got out of the car, she fell down. Then she looked around. Who caused her to fall down? This lady has this Yam Yong Ngan, able to see ghosts. She saw the 2 ghosts standing beside the fruit seller. So he went to tell the fruit seller, there are two ghosts standing beside you. That man didn't believe. He said, what? Ghosts standing beside me? What do they look like? So the old lady described. She said, the lady, about 40-something years old, all bloody. The younger one, like a teenager, his head seems to have got hit by something, smashed in. When he heard, he got a shock. It was exactly like his relative. So he asked the old lady to talk to them. What do they want? So the younger ghost spoke to the old lady. He said, my mother is not happy. We go back to our old house, cannot enter the house. So they complain, all the chanting never help us. You see? All the chanting doesn't help. Okay. Any other thing? Nowadays, Maya monks, when they say they're going to have a Fa Hui, what do they mean? They're going to do chanting, isn't it? Yeah. But during the Buddha's time, I understand from another monk, Fa Hui is not chanting. Fa Hui is a Dhamma assembly. Like now we are having a Fa Hui. We are not doing chanting, we are listening to Dhamma. That is the real Fa Hui. Any other thing?
Any more questions from the floor? Yeah, the one at the back.
Just now, Mahathera, you were mentioning the ghost. So, how did you help them to understand? Interesting. It's very interesting.
One of the things the ghost said was the mother looked inside her house, cannot go inside the house. Then she saw the Sanji Pai, the tablet for the dead, does not have her name. So she said she wants this Sinju Pai. The mother wants. Then the man asked the old lady to tell them, you cannot enter the house, why you still want the tablet there? Then the lady ghost said, even though I cannot enter the house, I see the name there, also satisfied. This shows, so they asked me, the man asked me, I say, the simple thing she wants, do it for her. So you see, when we have a wrong view, when we go for rebirth, we carry the wrong view with us. I've heard, I read somewhere, there are some people, they believe in God. After they pass away, they're still looking for God. They expected to see God, but they didn't see God. They're still looking for God. So it's very important to get your view right. Otherwise, you carry a wrong view.
Thank you, Bhante, for your novel Dhamma sharing. I've read a lot of articles from our leadership.
About what?
On the need for us to have noble heart, noble thoughts, to radiate loving kindness, compassion to all living beings. So that's the best way to honor the teachings of the Buddha and also to practice his teachings. And so the best way for us to be protected from spirits and to be guided by devas would be to have kind and noble heart and noble mind. So the use of amulets or for protections and all that are not superior to those with noble hearts and noble intentions. So and also our act of sharing of merits after each meritorious deed to all the devas. So will the devas continue to protect us, to show us the way? Like from this Dhamma talk, we will share the merits that we all have to the devas, to the teachers and guardians who will guide us in the future.
We don't share the merit. At the end of the talk, we invite the devas to rejoice with us, because when there's a Dhamma talk, quite often the devas and devis will want to come and listen. So after that, we invite them to rejoice with us. Now you talk about practicing all those things, but the most important thing is to listen to the suttas. When you listen to the suttas and you get right view, you have immeasurable blessings, countless blessings. When you get right view, become an Arya. Any more questions?
One day, some of the old men, they say that they want to die at home. They don't want to die in the hospital. Is there a reason?
Attachment. Attachment. Just like some people, when they are dying, they don't want to die until they see their son.
The day dinner you mentioned rejoice, the Deva rejoice with us. What is rejoice in Chinese, Mandarin or Hokkien?
I'm a Penang Baba, I don't know the Chinese.
The right word in Chinese.
What is the right word?
Rejoice means to sweet.
Okay, Bhante, there's some people teaching us that you now we burn the money, like paper money. But some teachings, some Chinese teachings, they say not to burn all these papers, monies. So what is your opinion on this?
You burn paper money, they will get paper money. But then it's like giving you Japanese notes lah. Those notes that were used during the Japanese time, tak boleh pakai. In the ghost realm, they don't use money. Why you want to give them money?
So what they use, if not money, what they use to?
They don't use anything. Every night they only looking for food. But there are different classes of ghosts lah. Some are like human beings, except that you don't see their feet, feet not touching the ground. There's some that are very hungry. There's some that are very fierce with Dracula teeth. So many different types.
What is your opinion on some people who dream of the dead ancestors? They dream of them doing business in the.
Doing business, tak wang xiang, imagination. Sometimes we dream of somebody has passed away, and then we think it's real, and then later we find it's not real, that person didn't pass away.
There's one instance, is a friend of my mother. Her children don't practice Buddhism, so they didn't pray for her. When she was alive, she practices the Japanese way. And when one day my sister dreamt of her, she came and said that her children did not do the chautu for her. After that, then we as friends, I do the chautu for her. The thing is that she came back. She came back into the dream and said that we did that for her. So, don't know what to believe.
It is possible that she is born as a ghost. And I mentioned just now, she still has the wrong view that Chautu will help her. So even they do Chautu for her, she will still be in the ghost realm. Chautu is just...
Chautu helps her. The childhood does help her.
She will still be in the ghost realm. It doesn't help at all. I mentioned just now, the woman and the son passed away, and they invited the Taoists to do the chanting for them. And then they say, they came back and say never benefited from the chanting.
They are different type of
No lah, Chow Tu cannot help. Even the Buddha cannot help. How can your Chow Tu help? Louder, louder. Put nearer your mouth.
Why some of the living person can somehow dream of another living person, right? Like who's about to die, and then can dream of their time of not time, deal, like that. Deal. Sorry.
If they dream only once, it's not important. But if they dream often, that means that person is somebody you know from the past life, and he wants help.
It really happened more than once.
Huh?
It really happened more than once. So, what is it?
I say he wants help, no? Anybody else got a question?
Bhante, I have to ask, why is it that when someone is sick or putting dead, they always dream of their parents coming to them in dreams? Why is it? It's true?
Probably means they are going to the ghost realm. Because a lot of people, they live a normal life. They used up your blessings. The human realm is one of the two happy destinations of rebirth, human and heaven. So we live as a human being. Every day we are enjoying life. You watch Astro, you drive, maybe you have a few cars in your house, aircon in your house, big house. You want to Chia Hong also, anytime you can go to China or other countries. You eat good food. So you are using up your blessings every day. By the time you pass away, if you don't know how to replenish your blessings, you will go into the ghost realm. So maybe 60-70% of humans after you pass away, you will go into the ghost realm. Speak louder. Put
When
the.
the child used to do that, will the parents receive?
No lah.
So it means just for the child itself.
If a child does dana, if he wants the parents to receive, he must inform the parents that he is doing it on their behalf or something. And the parents must be happy. So, if you tell your mother, oh, I'm going to the monastery to do dana this Sunday, and I want to transfer or share the merit with you, and if she thinks, this Bodo girl, give me the money, I go play mahjong better, then she won't get, she's not happy. She must accept it, must be happy, then only she can get. Then if your relative is, for example, in a coma in the hospital, and you do dana and you transfer the merit to that person doesn't know, how can he get? He must know, and then he must be happy to receive. That's why normally I tell people, if you want to do some dana, some offering, and you want to transfer merit to your departed relative, a few nights beforehand, you should tiam hyong, and inform them. The Buddha said we have many relatives and friends in the ghost realm. And when we do any charity, we must inform them, transfer the merit to them, then they'll be happy. One devotee told me, his friend, husband and wife were sleeping at night. Around midnight, they heard a lot of noise in the garden. Then the man asked the wife to go and see who's making all that noise. The wife went to the window, opened the window and looked, nobody there. They went back to sleep. Short while later, again a lot of noise. Again the wife went to see, nobody, and then she thought, not possible. Then she remembered they have a CCTV Went to see the CCTV, saw an old lady sitting outside and got a shock. Went to the window, nobody. Went to the CCTV, old lady sitting there. Went to the window again, nobody. So went back and told the husband. Husband came to see, and both got a shock. Both went to sleep. And the next day, they went to this Taoist temple and asked the medium to find out. So the medium went into a trance and then told them, this lady is your wife's previous life, Laima, Lingbo. Previous life, the ghost was the maid who looked after your wife when she was a baby. Now she's reborn in the ghost realm for so long, nobody to help. Nobody is able to help her. So she's looking for help now. So maybe she knows that this lady, she has friends who are Buddhists who can tell her what to do. So you see, previous life you have forgotten about her. When she's suffering, she's still looking for you. I have a devotee, the brother died 10 years ago. After he became a Buddhist, the brother came back, entered the sister's body and called for his name, want him to help. So you see, before he studied Buddhism, the brother never came because the brother probably knew that he won't help. He don't know how to help. And now that he's become a Buddhist, he's more likely to help. That's why the brother 10 years later came back looking for him. Okay, shall we stop here?
Thank you very much, Bhante. I'm sure you have a lot of questions to ask in your heart and your mind. And lots of us, late attainers, we usually wait until the last minute before the question can arise. Right? So we are not stopping you from becoming Arya. Tomorrow, come over to the temple at before 7:30, possible at 7. We are offering breakfast dinner to Bhante and the rest of the monks in Sydney. Thereafter, probably you can have another short Q&A or Dhamma talk with Bhante. That will be your last final questions. Yeah. Anyhow, let's compose ourselves and we will now Bhante to do the introductions of praise.
I would advise you all to listen to the suttas. You can get them in the SD card which our monastery has made. Either you come to the monastery itself or you can get a friend to come, get those SD cards and listen. It will benefit you a lot. A few people who had depression, after they listen to the Dhamma talks, they start to let go and they got rid of their depression.